Oh, hey, welcome to Internet Roundup. That's Josh Clark. I'm Chuck Bryant.
It's
and
true.
we do the Stuff You Should Know podcast. That's our claim to fame. We also have this little minor side project called Internet Roundup. And we round up the internet 2 articles at a time. Just things that pique our interest, that we find neat and interesting. That's all it has to be. Neat and interesting.
Yes.
And this week, we will start with something you found.
Oh, well, we're going to start with that one.
Did I throw you off? It's one of the 2 things you have. The Los Lunas Decalogue stone, also known as the Los Lunas Mystery Stone or the Commandment Rock.
Yeah.
In New Mexico.
Near Los Lunas, New Mexico. Which
Not
means
too far from Albuquerque.
The moons.
35 miles south of Albuquerque, in fact.
AKA in the middle of nowhere.
New Mexico's great.
Yeah.
You ever been there?
Sure. New Mexico's great. I'm
Lovely.
not saying that. I'm saying like
there's a lot of middle of nowheres.
This
in New
rock
Mexico,
is
though.
in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
It's a mystery rock in that there is an inscription on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 9 or 10 lines. Is it 10 lines, which is why it would be called a Decalogue?
Yeah, I think so. The 10 Commandments in a form of Paleo-Hebrew.
Paleo-Hebrew, which is not supposed to be in New Mexico. No, because why would it be there?
Right.
Is it possible that some early traders from the Middle East or Mediterranean made their way all the way to New Mexico and while there inscribed a rock with the 10 Commandments? It turns out no, most likely.
Yeah, it's there's been a lot of controversy. Some people claim, this one guy in particular, a professor who discovered it, Frank Hibben, said, you know what, I saw it in 1933, and the guy that showed me saw it in the 1880s.
Must be legit.
Must be legit. But the Paleo-Hebrew script is related to the Phoenician script, which was well known by 1870. So it still could have been a hoax, a modern hoax.
Right.
Modern meaning 1880s.
Yeah, and there's this pretty interesting article on the Schaefer University website.
Sure.
Mark Perkins and Titus Kennedy investigated this, and they went and looked at the stone, and they actually just demolished the idea that it's real.
Sure.
They're saying, like, first of all, whoever wrote this in Hebrew has like almost no understanding of Hebrew.
Right. There's mistakes.
There's just mistakes all over. There's spelling mistakes. There's mistakes in the structure of the actual lines.
Uh-huh.
Like apparently, like anything post-Greek is very straight.
Yeah.
Which is like how we write now.
Mm-hmm.
In early Hebraic, like lines would curve.
Uh-huh.
That's not the way this is on the stone.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of simple punctuation errors.
Yeah, and then the real giveaway was the scribe who put this in put this on the rock.
Uh-huh.
Apparently ran out of room and made like an arrow down the next line.
That
and they
old
were
bit.
like,
yeah,
people started doing that in the 20th century.
Yeah, continued on next rock.
Right, exactly. So they really just it goes even much deeper than that. If you want to look up the Los Lunas Decalogue stone, genuine or hoax, they basically point for point take it down.
Yeah.
And say there's no way that this is real. And it was probably the guy who discovered it who created the hoax.
Yeah, and there's one of the big arguments against is, in addition to the others, is that an archaeologist named Ken Fetter said, you know what, if this is in the middle of nowhere, so if this had been legit, people would have had to have traveled there over many days and camp out and eat foods and do things, and there's no evidence anywhere in the area of any kind of Hebrew artifacts. And he said there would be something there that we would have found at this point.
And there's no reason for it to be where it is. I think even like back in the pre-modern era, it was the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not very close to a water source. It's 10 miles from the Rio Grande. It's like in the middle of nowhere. There's no reason for it to be there. And plus the guy who discovered it, the anthropologist who discovered it, Dr. Frank Hibben, was already known to plant archaeological evidence. He'd been caught doing it 2 times before.
He's a pre-Clovis guy, right?
Yeah, he basically took some Clovis arrowheads and took them to Canada and planted them. He also planted evidence in the Sandia Cave.
Why bother with that?
I don't know.
Because you just don't want to be wrong so bad?
Or you just are like, history's boring. Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's say the Phoenicians were here.
Look, in an ancient Egyptian pyramid is a Game Boy.
Right.
What does that mean?
How did this get here?
And if you're asking why don't they just date the thing, apparently graffiti and cleaning of the graffiti over the years has rendered that nearly impossible.
Oh. There's another reason not to graffito tag archaeological stuff.
Right. And then finally today, we have a new initiative from the Target Corporation.
Right.
They came under fire not too long ago because what they did was they started taking down signs in their store in the kids department that indicated, like, buy this for your daughter,
Right.
buy this for your son, here's a rocket ship for your boy, here's a sewing machine for your daughter.
Right, and they kept selling the sewing machines and the rocket ships, but
The pink sewing machine is still there.
Right, they just took the boy or the girl's label off.
Yes, which you might think, what's the big deal? The stuff is still there. They're just not explicitly saying buy this for one gender or another.
Right.
But people made a big deal about it on certain news networks, starting with FOX.
There were cars overturned and set fire in the parking lot.
No.
The foundation underneath Target stores nationwide crumbled and they fell into the earth.
Reverend Franklin Graham told Fox News, God made us male and female, and that is just a fact. And to think we are gender neutral is just foolishness. Target says, we're not saying we're trying to make kids gender neutral. We're just taking away the signs and saying, boy can play with a doll, a girl can play with a rocket ship.
So that was last August.
That's right.
Now they've taken it a step further, and Target has released a line of kids decor, home decor, called
Pillow Fort.
Right, Pillow Fort, which is a gender neutral word.
Yeah.
Girls love to make pillow forts. Boys love to make pillow forts. Let's investigate what this stuff looks like. And if you really look into it, I mean, so the first picture of the little nautical theme, goes both ways.
Sure. They're
Clearly.
like teepees and bedspreads and, basically kids' room decor, but it's just not explicitly like pink frilly things for your daughter.
Well, they do have pink frilly stuff.
Sure.
But it's
here and there.
Frillyless enough that if a boy wanted it, the parents have to do it. You have to do it. So like this one, I would have that, the ice cream one.
Yeah.
I love that. I love those colors. I love the ice cream thing. I just love it. I'm sorry. I just love it. I think it's great that this is happening.
Yeah, and I have a baby daughter, and we are not we're not making some big gender neutral stand, but I'm just not a big fan of like the pink ruffly headband so everyone knows she's a girl.
Right.
We've had people say good looking boy, and I don't say no, it's a girl.
Sock them in the mouth.
No, I mean if it's a friend, I'll say because they probably want to know.
Right.
But if it's a stranger, who cares?
Oh, you just go.
Yeah, she wears her fair share of dresses, but she also wears sweatpants and a t-shirt.
Construction boots.
Yeah, construction boots. And here's the thing, though. This is what irks me, is it comes down to money is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
This is not an age-old tradition
Right.
that's being enacted or previously with the girls and boys stuff. Sociologist Elizabeth Sweet said in the New York Times that gender was mostly absent from children's products altogether until the turn of the 20th century. And then post-World War II, there was a rise in it. And then in the 1970s, it kind of disappeared again, came back hard in the 90s, and they started making a lot of money and said, yeah, well, this is where it's at.
Yeah, because if you have a boy and then you have a girl, you don't have hand-me-downs.
Two different things you have to buy.
Exactly.
And that's what
even
it comes
though
down
it's
to.
a bedspread.
Yeah.
Or something like that, right?
Yep.
And actually, Chuck, the pink used to be for boys and blue was for girls back in the 1920s.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So this whole idea that it's all the gender identities have to be forged and shaped and supported, and the boundary lines have to be well kept and guarded. It is just BS.
It is, and Target is not out to neuter your child, people.
Yeah, if your
Settle down.
if your boy likes colorful ice cream cones on his bed, doesn't mean he's going to grow up to be gay. And if he does grow up to be gay, there's nothing wrong with that anyway.
No.
And let's all just relax, shall we?
Yeah, and enjoy your ice cream.
Yeah. Who doesn't love ice cream?
Everybody. And that's what we're going to leave you with this week. We'll see you next time on Internet Roundup.
Whoopsh.